But let's face it, there was a lot of stuff that was going wrong with that offense early, and they had a good game against Carolina, but most of the other games, I mean, they were just so predictable. You just knew what was going to happen. And I think Nick, I think he also had he was worried about the defense too, Jody. I think that was another reason why he decided, hey, maybe this is the best way to use my time is because he had to focus on that too. That defense, remember that they got shelled. They gave up a 70% passing completion percentage, or to a bunch of quarterbacks. They were.
So he'll be streaming in any second now. We're looking forward to chatting him up. And as a matter of fact,
he's in the green room. He's getting ready.
His last sip of whatever that was before he joins us. There he is, Bob Grotz at the Delco Time. All right, first things first. What the hell was that pink glass you were drinking out of?
It's a Wawa, yeah.
It's a Wawa
action. Yeah. Is that what they use down in Delco?
I'm not a big Wawa coffee guy. It's good, but it's not the best as far as I'm concerned.
It's not that AM PM hyper bean.
You got to go to Shady Maple.
Yeah, Shady Maple. Yeah,
yeah. They got a coffee shop out there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, where the hell is Shady Maple?
It's about 45 minutes west. It's out in I don't know what, God's country.
Yeah, we're getting close.
You pass the horses and buggies, John.
Yeah, we're getting close to Lancaster out in Shady Maple.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a little bit too far, but it is good. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah,
we're giving them a free plug.
Great market. They're having a big meat sale this week, Jody.
Nice.
The meat there, Jody. The meat is so fresh. When they put it in the bag, it's still moving.
That's good to know. Not only have I not been there, I've never heard of this damn place.
It's the market. It's not the smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's a smorgasbord and farm market, Jody. Yeah.
I stick with the Amish market over here in South Jersey, and it's perfectly fine.
The one in Williamstown, that's a good place too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an excellent
there,
place. Yeah, excellent. All right, everybody got their smorgasbord farm market, Amish market news.
I think I'll have a cup of
guys. I can't wait until training camp starts.
Yeah,
all that heat. We get to see what's some 11-on-11s, no contact.
This is
whoa. You sure you're going to see 11-on-11s?
Yeah,
you might be putting the cart. You're spending too much time in Western Pennsylvania putting the cart before the horse. How do you know you're going to get 11-on-11s?
Yeah. Well, what do you need 11-on-11s for?
Yeah, the inner squad. Once they start practicing with the other teams, you'll at least get to see that. So,
I imagine you have to. You still.
Hey, by the way, did you see that video of Hurts at his camp?
No. I saw.
He was at somebody's youth camp. Yeah.
No, he did his own youth camp. Yeah.
Oh, he did his own. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't throwing the ball too well. I counted 0 for 6, and I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, the bad. I heard he had a bad youth camp practice. But, we'll see if he can. Well, we'll see if he can shake that off. Sean Bradley had his youth camp. Jalen had his youth camp. Hassan Reddick had his youth camp. Everybody's got a youth camp now. Bob Grotz, I believe, has his youth camp for journalists.
I wish I had one. I really do, because I could have written something on some more taxes off. Not that I make that much money. You always
take those Temple kids under your wing when they show up to the NovaCare complex.
Yeah,
Bob is very helpful to the youngsters. Very helpful.
Bob Grotz's youth camp is going to be held at Shady Maple in Western Pennsylvania. For those of you wishing to attend starting next year. All right, you're going to show up with McMullen next week, middle of the week, when the Eagles actually do send their schedule out.
I can't wait.
They're going to have a season. We know that. We just don't know when it's going to officially get underway in South Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni's second year as a head coach. what'll be different from Nick Sirianni's first year as a head coach, Bob Grotz?
Well, I hope a few things. I hope he was kind of predictable last year. They could. I mean, they had to scrap the offense basically from what they wanted to do early, a passing offense to a run offense. But then, I mean, to me, it was fairly predictable. So I hope that what he's learned from or taken from that, and I'm sure he has a little bit more creativity. And
there we
and
go. There's that word.
Yeah,
creativity. 32nd in the NFL in pre-snap motion.
Yeah, they need to. They definitely need, and I'm sure they've had some quote unquote experts take a look at the film and say, this could really help you do this or that or the other thing, So I think we're going to see some of that, and that creativity too. It also that goes hand in hand with the personnel that you have. They're going to be able to do some things this year that they couldn't do last year. They're going to have that. They have at least two guys on offense that you got a game. Well, possibly three that you got a game plan for. The big three of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. So that should help out. But I really don't want to see him run the ball as much either. Can Hurts, is he the guy that can do it? Can he put it up a lot and be successful? Kind of mixed reviews on that last year, but it'll be fun to see how they tailor this offense to those strengths and to the skill set of Jalen Hurts.
Well, you mentioned tailor the offense. Are the Eagles trying to pound the square peg in the round hole by forcing Jalen Hurts to go away from what he does best, and that's running the football, off-schedule offense? Why are they trying? Why not? In other words, if you have Jalen Hurts and his strengths, why not try to accentuate those rather than try to make him into what he isn't?
That's a great point, and I think we're going to see, how they deal with that whole thing. His ability to create play, create. I'm using that word way too much right now, but his ability. I mean, he can make plays. There's no doubt about it. But is he going to be able to get out of the pocket, scramble? Is he going to be able to run and get those first downs for 17 games this year? I think that's a lot to ask. So and hopefully he's learned something. Nick was talking about that, his mechanics being better too. Now I couldn't tell. Yeah, I can't tell. And I don't think we'll know until the games actually begin about his mechanics and that. And he went to that, the Tom House passing clinic out there. He got some, or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure that didn't hurt. And he looks like he's in great shape. I mean, he looks like,
it does. He looked like he lost a little weight, but he doesn't want to hear that. But he looks like he lost weight to me.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff. We won't really know until they start playing some games, but we will be able to figure out, what type of chemistry he's going to have with these guys, even in the practices with the receivers and how what he sees. He's still not the tallest guy when he's out there on the field. And, that hasn't been a big obstacle for some other people. But we shall see with Jalen Hurts. But it's going to be fun to see what happens here because he has some real quality skills. And I think he can make the throws. Can he make them consistently? To be determined.
All right, BG, I got a chicken or the egg question for you. Last year, the Eagles, about 6 or 7 games in, we could try and define it down to the exact moment that they made the decision. Hey, we got to run the football more. And they did, and it was successful, and they made the playoffs. We also found out after the season that Shane Steichen was calling the plays in the second half of the season, that the head coach gave up those responsibilities, passed it on to his offensive coordinator, and he did a good job with it. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did Sirianni decide, hey, I need to give this up, and Steichen just took it and ran with it, literally? Or did they decide, listen, we're going to need to go run first here? And if that's the case, maybe Shane would be better doing the play calling. Which do you think came first? The Eagles' decision to become more run-based, or the decision to make Steichen the play caller, which led itself to leading with the run?
I'm going to take the easy way out and say it was a little bit of both, But let's face it, there was a lot of stuff that was going wrong with that offense early. And they had a good game against Carolina, but most of the other games, I mean, they were just so predictable. You just knew what was going to happen. So I think Nick, I think he also had he was worried about the defense too, Jody. I think that was another reason why he decided, hey, maybe this is the best way to use my time, is because he had to focus on that too. That defense, remember that they got shelled. What did they gave up? What a 70% passing completion percentage, or to a bunch of quarterbacks. They were all good quarterbacks. I'll give them that, but that defense got. I mean, they were just blown up. So he had to devote a little bit more time to that too, and figure out, and even give some suggestions. So I think it was a combination of those two things. So, but this year I think having knowing what they have, I wouldn't be surprised either. Right now, Steichen is. It looks like he's going to do it again, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nick was calling those plays if things go right. But as the season grinds on.
Yeah, and it's Nick's offense. I wrote about that on Sports Illustrated this morning. So he went into a big dissertation about how no matter who's calling the plays, they're going to be run the same way and all that kind of thing. So it was Las Vegas where the Eagles changed to a run-first offense. So that was week 7. Shane took over week 9 fully against that Chargers game. So a little bit, they had already decided to go run first. My question is, Bob, we had mentioned with the pre-snap motion and being last in the NFL, you know how the narratives go in this league. Everybody likes to talk about creativity, and we've mentioned that word a lot. It's kind of nebulous, though. Nobody knows what they're talking about. They just want to see bells and whistles. How quickly does that change if the Eagles sit there and there's no motion and they're slogging down again, and we see 15 freaking wide receiver screens? I was gonna poke my eyes out if I saw another wide receiver screen early in the season. How quickly does young, innovative coach change to this guy's overmatched if he doesn't sort of play the game in the NFL? You got to show some things.
I'll tell you, A.J. Brown, I mean, you looked at the way that he was successful. One of the ways he was successful with the Titans was he was in motion. So I can't imagine an Eagles offense this year without seeing A.J. Brown in motion. And Devontae Smith, I could see the same thing with him.
That's a player. He was great in motion at Alabama. They would use him all the time. And it's like, why don't you take some of that with Devontae?
Right. So I can't imagine that. I don't know that I don't know where you draw the line on the creativity with the motion and the personnel that they have. But I think you're going to see a lot more of that this year. And it's going to be if they run this thing right, and John, I was telling you the other day, I think the consultant for this offense is Phillip Rivers, out there retired. Jody, that's kind of the inside joke. I mean,
they love him.
They talk to this guy all the time.
Yeah.
So, but and there's your quick passes and your rhythm passing and all that, and get the ball out of your hand quick and take a loss if you have to. If they run that offense, that would be an upgrade, if you ask me. I mean, they throw the ball a lot. I think they'd be productive, and they have guys that can get yards after the catch. That would be an upgrade to the passing offense. But however they put this thing together, and there's just a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of ways they could do it. they better be scoring some points, and they better make the playoffs again this year, because the expectations are through the roof, and they have some upgrades. They've done that. They've upgraded on both sides of the ball, and they better go at least 9-8, or maybe 10-7, or there's going to be some more changes. And there's always changes, but there could be some interesting changes, and depending on how the quarterback does, maybe that could be one of them.
All right, BG, I need you to choose a descriptive phrase to describe the contribution of the Eagles' third-round draft pick this year. Will what Nakobe Dean brings to the Eagles in year one be more startup costs or significant contribution? Which do you think those two is more likely for this season?
I'd lean towards the startup costs, because he wasn't healthy to do much of even workouts. So I think this is going to be kind of a year where a transition type of thing for him. But if he's as good as the scouting reports, and if he's as good as some of those highlights that I've seen, if he can be consistent and stay on the field, then they've got something. But I still don't. I remember I got in an argument with you on the last show, Jody, about how big the guy was. I don't think he's that big of a guy, but he plays very fast, and that's going to be, but that size thing, I don't know. And the way he plays, I mean, he just bangs around out there like a pinball, hits people. I don't know how, if you can you stay healthy for 17 games doing that now. But that'll be fun to learn. And and the other guy too, Jordan Davis, the big tackle. I'd have him right in the middle of those two items that you gave me, because I think it's going to be a transition for him too. I know other people think he's going to be able to just step right in and be a plug and play guy, but I don't think the guy is really, and it's not just stamina in that, but if you look at the way he plays, he's going to have to learn how to really get down low, because in the NFL, even the guys,
low man wins.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's going to get jacked up a few times if he plays that high, but that's going to be fun to see too. So, but the guys, those two guys definitely pedigree. So but I still think it's a little bit of developmental year for them. I was looking at the depth charts of the NFC East teams, and because I think the Eagles had a pretty good offseason. And I looked at the other teams, and I think those other teams did pretty well too. I mean, on paper, if you look at it, and their defensive line.
Out of the three, who do you think did well? Giants, Commanders, or Cowboys? Who's the most improved, or who just held their ground the best of those three?
The Giants, they got Thibodeau. I
think anytime you get two picks in the top 10, you better get some stinking talent.
They got another offensive lineman. They had so it looks like they got their two tackles. Daniel Jones is coming back, but they don't have a receiver though. Kenny Golladay, or what's his name? Golladay. Yeah. That guy's a coach killer. I mean, wherever he goes. I mean. So they need a threat there, and I don't think Saquon Barkley is. I don't think he's the big play guy that a lot of people thought he was. But you look at their defensive line; it's pretty good. Leonard Davis, and there's a couple other tackles there. I mean, that's enough to cause problems. Their secondary is pretty good, and the same thing with Washington. Their defense is pretty good. The defensive line.
Defensive line is pretty good,
yeah. It's going to be interesting. The Cowboys upgraded a little bit on that defensive line. They lost some guys too, but the Cowboys' offensive line, though, it still needs a lot of work. So, but the Eagles, they really need those rookies to come through, Jody, to make this, to win the battle of that offseason.
Let's talk about those Washington Commanders, Bob. Carson Wentz, excuse me. It's been what it's been. We had the last season here, Indianapolis, He was okay statistically, but didn't show up in big spots. Obviously, the owner couldn't stand him.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
And now here he is bouncing to Washington. He's better than what they had at the bare minimum with Taylor Heineke. Has Carson got anything left that the Eagles fans should be a little bit wary of? Maybe this guy's going to come back and haunt us in the NFC East.
Well, he'll be prepared for the Eagles. I mean, he'll go out of his way to do some extra preparation for them. But you look at, and I think he does have something left. But look at that, the Washington, the offensive line, man, that thing.
Not good.
Name two guys on that line. I mean, it's just not. They lost they lost Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah.
You know? They lost. They lost the left tackle a couple years ago. But that thing is a shambles. So I can't imagine. For him, it's going to be about survival back there. They'll be able to maybe run the ball a little bit, but they're going to have trouble scoring points. But they're going to be a problem with that defense. So, I think can he still win games? Yeah, I can't imagine what it must be like to line up every week in a sport like pro football and where the owner hates you. And you're walking down the hall, and everybody else is saying hello, and he gets to you and he doesn't say anything. I don't know that that's exactly what happened, but I can imagine. So and Carson could be smug too. The two of those guys, looking away from each other at the same time. That would be good video. For the morning.
But he doesn't have to worry about that with Daniel Snyder because he's on his yacht somewhere over there in Europe. He's hanging low. He's not going to even be here for the Washington game.
Yeah.
He's got to wait for the year to run out so he doesn't have to go in front of Congress.
He's got to run out the clock on Congress. Yeah.
You could make a movie about Daniel Snyder's offseason. I mean, all the stuff that, if we found out just a little shred of what's happening, there's a lot of drama in that. Yeah. I still think that guy Bezos is going to end up buying Washington. I think something's going to happen.
Hey, he owns everything else.
I think I think that's going to be it. Yeah, I think he's going to wind up with that team.
I think that smells like about a 10-episode Netflix package put together if they were to be able to lay that out. All right, last one for me, Bob. I asked this question of John, and then he in turn asked it of Scott Grayson, who was on with us earlier. Scapegoat. Like you, I'm trying to be a hard-hitting Eagles guy. Yeah, not even close. But if things go badly for the Eagles this year and they don't get 11 wins like McMullen and I are saying, or 10 wins, or even 9 wins like they did last year, they have a losing season, something will have gone wrong. Certainly expectations are higher than that. And somebody's going to have to pay a price. If we assume that Jalen Hurts is numero uno on that list.
Yeah, he's
going to be number one
coach or the head coach.
You would put the head coach before the defensive coordinator?
I can't imagine that defense not playing better this year. So they have some players. I think they upgraded the pass rush, the secondary for sure. So I would say, the head coach, and the quarterback, and the quarterback, you'd always have to go to Howie. People are going to start ripping him again. He's a favorite target. And you look at their schedule this year. Compared to last year, this is a really easy schedule. They're just like guaranteed to win in the open.
Last year was pretty easy too, man.
Well, it started off tough.
Yeah,
it started off tough.
Yeah,
but the way it shook down later, it was easy.
Yeah.
But, so I can't. I don't. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens because there could end up being a lot of scapegoats in that situation. So. And, their offensive line really, to me, it's still the strength of the team. So as good as the defensive line, as much as they've upgraded. But you look at, one injury there, if they lose one guy there, they got some problems. They have some backups, but, that could be tough. So especially against the competition that they're playing against. And even in the NFC East with the defensive lines. There's going to be there's guys that Kayvon Thibodeau can run down Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it probably can. But same thing here with Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. Their startup costs with all rookies. Same thing's going to happen with Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal. Maybe 2-3 years down the line, those guys are going to be really, really difficult to deal with. But I do think you're going to have a bit of a ramp up period. Bob, at Bob Grotz on Twitter, follow Bob there. Read him at the Delco Times, delcotimes.com. Let's talk about that defensive line, because you and I are getting it. You're a little bit down on Fletcher Cox. The Eagles gave him $14 million. You talk about that depth. Jordan Davis, Javon Hargrave, Milton Williams, Fletcher Cox inside. Outside is Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, Jody's favorite, Teron Jackson. Still pretty good depth on the defensive line. Fletcher, you think he's a descending player?
Oh, yeah. I think he's been descending for a couple of years, yeah. He just
and nothing left. How far are we? How far are we down that road?
With Fletcher Cox?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say he's about a 5.5.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's past the demarcation line.
I'm still puzzled by that $14 million. I mean, there must have been some promises, somebody told somebody things that weren't true. I don't know what's going on with that. I think that the tackles, I know you guys laughed at me the last time, but I like Milton Williams.
I like Milton. Yeah. I just don't think he's going to have a lot of playing time, because how's he going to get on
I do.
the
I
field?
think he's going to, yeah. Because, depends on how they use Fletcher Cox and Davis. They're gonna want to ramp up snaps for Davis, but I don't know that the guy can play more than a couple, especially early. I think we're going to see how fast he is running on and off the field early in the season, John. Like how quickly he can get.
Well, he's fast.
The biggest guy on the defense, coming in and out of the game so much.
He's going to, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see who Aaron Rodgers catches not getting off the field quick enough, because he does it every week. It's probably going to be Barnett. It might be Jordan Davis. As fast as he is, he doesn't know how savvy Aaron is with that. Somebody's going to get caught with that.
Yeah, and Barnett, looking at that depth chart again, I mean, I know that they re-signed him and everything, but I look at that depth chart and I say, Barnett's still here?
Yeah.
Even though I know it.
Yeah.
Even though I know he's here, it's kind of like Odubel Herrera.
Matt Leo's still here. Of course, Derek Barnett's still here.
Yeah, right. I mean, so, and they wouldn't have signed him if they didn't expect to get some big-time snaps out of him.
He's going to play. Unfortunately,
so
Jody and
so how good is that group? Are they? And Hargrave, this is a contract year for him, right?
Yes, he's on a contract year, and he's 29. I think that's an underreported story. I think people just assume the Eagles are going to re-sign Javon Hargrave. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, we'll see what Davis. We'll see how close he is, and we'll see how some of those other guys, Milton Williams, how they do. I think, I don't think that's a lock either. Javon Hargrave coming back.
Yeah.
So,
in 2023 is when you're going to get a lot of Milton Williams. A lot of Milton Williams.
I think you're going to get it this year, but
good for you, Bob. You're sticking to your guns. You think somehow Milton?
Oh, I hear the phone ringing.
There we go. It's like you're in the newsroom. I thought you were at home. You're in the newsroom.
No, I think that's either Howie or the director of phone. Return your call.
That's Dom giving you a call.
That is funny. The reason why we have him on, perfect example, Derek Barnett, the Odubel Herrera of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think we need to say anything more than that. I think that perfectly captures the Eagles' re-signing of Mr. Barnett, and also what Bob Grotz brings to the table when he joins us. BG, we'll let you go get the phone. Thanks for coming on. Get out, get some sun this week. Get ready.
Yeah.
Get that block 67 on that fair skin of yours.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Get the bucket hat ready.
Yeah.
He will
be guys.